Your lack of focus is going to negatively impact every single area of your life in more ways than you might think. And that statement is not there to scare you. It's simply there to tell you the truth as to what has already been happening and what is going to continue to happen if you do not make a change. Now, this is off the back of a poll I did yesterday on my socials asking people what their average screen time was. And 75% of people voted that they were on their screens for more than 6 hours per day. 6 hours every single day. And now I'm not here to judge, because that was me back in 2022. I would say I was easily in the high 8s, the high 9s. And back then I'd always brandish it as, oh, well, I've got to work. I run my business off social media. I run my business online. So all that time is being spent doing productive things. I'm building the business. But I know now that that is a complete barefaced lie. I even tried to do something back then to try and bring it down, because I understood that 8 hours is a little bit too much. So I put a screen time limit on Instagram to stop me at 3.5 hours, thinking that that was normal. 3.5 hours spent on one application. Now we've got the likes of TikTok, of X, of Facebook, of whatever it is that you're on your phone that is constantly robbing you of your attention and of your focus. And I did a little bit of math. And for those people who are on, we're going to say 6 hours is the lowest. These people could have been on 7. These people could have been on 8, 9, 10s. But if you were to spend 6 hours every day in a whole year, you would lose 91 days to your phone. 91 days of your year will be spent on your phone. And that is a crazy number. And this is why I've written up this episode, this video, to talk about how we can start claiming back some of that time and why we should claim back some of that time, and just some of the areas that is going to negatively impact from your lack of focus. So I'm going to share with you why this matters. I'm going to share with you why you need to change it, and then lastly, what you can do to change it. So we're going to get straight into it. I've got some notes. I'm going to run with it, and yeah, let's start claiming back some of that focus. So we're going to define focus as the ability to be able to zero in on a task for an extended period of time. And I believe that to improve anything, to improve in any single area of your life, you need two things. You need focus and you need effort. You need to put in the work, and you need to be able to sustain that amount of work in order to create a change. If you cannot do those things, then you're not really going to make much of an impact. And if you're constantly distracted, you cannot possibly give it your all. You may be able to make some moves, you may be able to put in some effort, and you may even be able to see some progress, but you're never going to reach the absolute limits of your potential because you're constantly being distracted. You're always going to be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. It's always going to be half-assed in a way, because you don't know what's on the other side if you were just to be able to focus, if you were to be able to have concentrated effort on the thing that you're trying to do. And for a long time, I didn't think it was a problem. I was like, well, what is that? Like, it's 2 minutes, it's a minute, it's just a quick scroll, it's a quick message. It's not going to make that much difference. I'm still doing the task. I'm still going to go back into the thing. And as I was writing this all up, I was doing a bit of research, and I found a thing called distraction recovery, whereby it takes an average of 23 minutes for the brain to refocus on the original task. And again, linking back to how I would say that was pretty harmless was because of the fact that I was scrolling, still doing the work that I needed to do and getting straight back into it. But recently, now that I've relinquished some control over my phone and over this constant distraction, I find myself getting into what they call a flow state or peak performance quite often. And whenever I was being distracted, I was always robbed from that. It's very hard in the beginning to get into that flow state. Flow state is not something that you can just do on command. It's not just something that appears and you can do it within 10 minutes. If you're like me, you do anything creative, you do some writing, you're doing some editing, you're trying to think of ideas, there's a little bit of resistance in the beginning. There's a little bit of, what am I going to do? There's a lot of thoughts in my mind of like, I could do it this way, I could do it that way. And for me, there's a lot of turmoil, there's a lot of decisions, there's a lot of different things that I'm trying to focus on before I can actually get into the main crux of things. And it takes a little while for me to get into the swing of things. But when I do, I'm locked in, as they say now. I am locked in on the task. Ideas seem to flow so naturally, and you end up doing your best work. And if you cannot focus, you are being robbed of this. If you think that little scroll here and there is harmless, is not going to do anything, then you do not know what it's like to be in the flow state. You do not know what it's like to reach your peak performance and your best output and see some of your best ideas. because that peak performance, that flow state is usually when you're doing less thinking. It's usually when you're less distracted. It's usually when your mind is calm. And social media, distractions, whatever it is, whatever capacity that is for you, your phone is going to rob you from doing that. And I'm going to make a brash statement here and say that the uptake or the notion that everyone has ADHD now is it's just wrong. I just don't believe it. I honestly would wager bet that 50% of people who say they have ADHD just don't have it. They just have a phone problem. They are just constantly distracted. Their attention spans are too short. They have been accustomed to stopping tasks within a couple of minutes to go and scroll. They cannot hold their focus on a single task for more than 5 minutes. And obviously that is in line with being ADHD, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, I believe. But I would say that a lot of those people don't actually have it. They just are being robbed of their attention because of their phone use, their constant scrolling, their constant breaking of trying to do one thing and then quickly doing another, trying to multitask. Can't even watch a TV episode without checking your phone at the same time. All of these things are going to stop you from reaching your potential, are going to stop you from getting to your peak performance. But I want you to try and think about a time where you were free from your phone. Now, I've had a couple of these moments where you just feel like you're just in the zone, like. And again, reaching that flow state, the zone, some of it's work related, but some of it's just pure activity and experience. So there have been times where when I was traveling Bali a couple of years back, and the first week I would say of me being there, I wasn't on my phone. This is where I had basically a 2-week holiday from my business. So I took that 2-week holiday and I was like, I'm doing no social media, no posting, no nothing. I'm just going to be in the moment. And I always look back on that time with fond memories because I was just present. I was just speaking to people. I was just doing the thing. I was just relaxing. I was free from checking other people's lives. I was free from trying to open a phone to get an answer that was just not there. Like, sometimes I didn't even know what the hell I was opening the phone for. But I just experienced the thing so much more. And one of the tasks that I'm going to be sharing with you later on in this video is taking a phone-free weekend, which I've just come off the back of. We're on Tuesday, so this weekend I spend a full 48 hours without my phone. I use what is a brick, very similar to a brick that locks me out of social media, and I get no notifications, I do no scrolling, and I spend a full 48 hours off the phone. And I found that everything that I did just felt better. Every coffee, I spent time going to Waterstones because I'm sad. I went to a comedy show. I met up with my family. I had a roast dinner. I watched the football. The weekend seemed to drag in a way, not in a negative way. The weekend seemed to go so much slower because I was focused on everything that I was doing. I was focused on the coffee with a friend. I was focused on the conversation that I was having. I wasn't thinking, oh, should I check someone else's phone? Should I be distracted? Should I rush? Should I fill in this bit of time where I'm a bit bored and try and just keep myself busy? And I just found that by doing that, the weekend just seemed to go a lot slower, and I appreciated every single moment a lot more, again, because I was in the present moment. I was in the flow state. I allowed my brain to get to a space of calm, a space of not, okay, what do I need to do next? What do I need to focus on? And just slow. And once you get to that point, you make so many changes, which is leading on to why you should want to implement this, why you should want to take back some of your time, reduce your screen time, and just overall be better. So all of us could benefit from better focus. Hopefully within the first 9 minutes of this video, you would understand that the better focus is going to have a 10x effect on everything, on your relationships, on your workouts, on your experience of life, on your productivity, on so many things. And it is the one skill or trait that is going to put you ahead of 75% of people who can't get off their phones, who are constantly distracted, who are at less than their best, who can't produce the work, who are less productive, who are not reaching those levels that you're trying to get to. And if we can focus, like if we can take down that time, calm our minds a little bit, we'll have less turmoil, we'll make better decisions, we'll have better experiences, and subsequently, if this is your thing, you will make more money. If you're better at what you do, if you're having better ideas, you are going to be able to stand out. And that is the key thing I want to kind of highlight there, is the standing out part of let's talk business in your work, in the thing that you're trying to achieve. If you can stand out because you're having better ideas, because you can hone in on a task, because you're not being distracted, because you've got the discipline, your output is better, your productivity is better, you have more quality. We are in a point in the world where AI has taken over the world. Like, if you don't change within the next 3 years, then we're all going to be jobless and homeless, which is the message that I see online. But if there is a situation where AI can do your job and your employer starts seeing, okay, I could actually get someone in to do this, but they don't want to do it straight away. Maybe they want to try and keep some of the people on. They want to keep the people. They want to prioritize the people over the AI. Let's just say, picture a scenario, and AI can do what you do, but your boss is looking at you and seeing that you are distracted, you're not producing great output, and everything that you can do can be done by AI. Then you're making it a given to be replaced. If you can't create new ideas, if you're not thinking outside the box, if you're not providing any unique value, then you're making it a given to be replaced, because AI can do it for you. There is a choice as to two things that can do the same job. One is not distracted at all. You're not distracting AI, unfortunately, in the way that we can. Then you're going to put yourself in a very difficult position if that time comes around, because you're not bringing anything different to the table. So focus now is more valuable than it's ever been. More valuable than it's going to be. And that's only in one situation. It has spill over to so many different things, like in your relationships, being able to focus on your partner, being able to focus on your friends, being able to water the relationships you have, being to the ability to be where your feet are, to be in the present and appreciate the moment and kind of quieten your mind. All of these things come from focus. So what can you do to change it? What are some things you can go and implement right now to start changing that? I'm not saying you're going to be able to cut your screen time by half. Some of you may, if you've got the willpower, but some things that you can do. Analog activities that slow you down. Things that don't require your phone, obviously. Things that are not going to take your attention and that take time. I mean, actually, I'll caveat that there is one thing that is not analog, but things like reading. I listened to something the other day that said, someone was asking a question of, is there an audio book? Because I can't sit there and read a book. I get too antsy. I can't focus. And the person turned around and said, if you cannot focus on a book, how the hell are you going to focus or put the focus required to change your life, to get that promotion, to build that business, to build that body, to build that life that you want? How the hell are you going to focus on that if you cannot focus on reading? Something so simple as reading. Have a practice, do short books, don't go for anything crazy, but stuff that is going to take time, stuff that delays the gratification, you have to sit through it to get to the end, to get through to the learning. I don't know why I've written down Sudoku here or something, but I imagine that it takes time, it takes thinking, it takes you actually having to focus on what it is that you're doing. And again, it's not that short burst of dopamine and creativity. And then I put long form content, so switching from Reels and TikTok to maybe watching longer form YouTube videos like this one. Some of you, or majority of you, are not even going to be here at 13 minutes, which is sad, but it is the reality. If you can see things through, if you can listen to longer podcasts, if you can watch longer videos, then you then train that ability to focus and get to that point where your brain slows down, it quietens the noise of all the other thoughts, and you take in the information that you need. Number 2 is create a recognize, release, and refocus routine for when you are being distracted. So recognize when you are doom scrolling, recognize when you spent the last half an hour scrolling through videos and you don't even know what the last 2 videos were that you watched. Then release that recognition. So, okay, oh God, I'm doom scrolling now. I'm going to take a deep breath in. This sounds very woo-woo, but stick with me. You're going to take a deep breath in and you're going to focus on one sole object as you're doing that. So you're going to take your focus away from the screen. You're going to look at something, take a big breath. And then you're going to try and change your state. You're going to refocus. You're going to go and do something different. You're going to go move your body. You're going to go close the phone. You're going to go wash up. You're going to put your clothes away. Whatever it is, have some sort of routine that is going to allow you to recognize the feeling, release what it is, the tension that you're trying to get rid of, the distraction, and then refocus back on something different. Another one is sleep without your phone in your room. So get a alarm clock that is going to act as something that's going to wake you up, not straight away going on your phone, seeing your notifications, already thinking about that Slack message that you got, that WhatsApp that you've got, the messages, the missed calls, all those kind of things, the Instagrams. And then on top of that is removing the phone from the first and last hour of your day. So the first hour of your day, you use the alarm clock to wake up, and you don't do no scrolling, no nothing, no checking emails. You make some sort of routine. You go for a walk, you drink your coffee, you have your breakfast, you get ready for the day. No phones. Okay? Learn to get away from the focus. Learn to allow your brain to sort of wake up and understand what it is that needs to be done today. And then the same with the last hour a day. You've had so much stimulation. There's been so many things going on. You want to make sure that you're winding down, getting ready for bed. So the last thing you want to do is be scrolling. So no phone the last bit of the day. Phone-free moments, like I alluded to in the video, is spending a weekend, spending 24 hours without your phone. And when people say, oh, you haven't got your phone, what if an emergency happens? What I mean is social media. Lock yourself out of social media in some form or another. There is an app called Focus, Focus, that you can use. Or you can use the screen time. The only thing with that is you can override it, so it's quite easy. But just get rid of the social media, of the emails, of the things that are going to distract you. Leave the phone calls, because obviously if there is an emergency, people can phone you. But experience a whole day, 2 days without your phone, without scrolling, and just notice how good it feels. And then just plan moments of boredom. Plan times where you're just sitting there and going for a walk with no headphones, no music, no phone, and you're just bored. You're just taking in what's around you. If you're standing in a queue, if you're sitting on a train, no phone, no headphones, just sit there, be bored. Train yourself to focus, train yourself to think about your thoughts, train yourself to see what it is that's going on around you. And then the last thing I've written here is don't let opportunity and success pass you by, because social media or things alike have been designed to hold you back and take away your focus and make you less than your best. So that is the one skill in 2026 that is going to absolutely change your life. So go out there and make it happen.